built by the Byzantines and expanded by the Crusaders. And then inside the church of the Byzantines became a mosque with the early Islamic invaders. Then the Crusaders turned it into a church. Then the Mamluks in the 1260s came. Mamluks. Where were the Mamluks from? Egypt. They turned it into a mosque again. So most of what you saw on the inside and the Muslim side is from the Mamluk period. Mamluk era mosque. From 12th century onwards. And that's the new part of it. Okay? But it's not that they destroyed what was under it, they just added. So when the Mamluks came, they basically surveyed Jewish people who had been living continuously since the time of Abraham, right? Small Jewish community living in Hebron. Eventually the Arab invaders, the Arabs come, and to make it more complicated, many of the Palestinians today are descendants of Jews that converted to Islam historically, but we won't get into that, okay? That's to make it even more complicated. But the Mamluks come and they say, Jewish people not allowed to pray, it's now a mosque. We're going to build another little structure on the side called the 7 Steps. So Jews were only allowed for 700 years to pray, not in the building, not up above where we're going to go in a short while, but up to 7 steps for 700 years. In 1920s, a young Jewish man came during the British administration, and he came where Jews had prayed for 650 odd years. To this outside structure here, there was which is now destroyed. And he vowed, and he felt the feeling of humiliation. Basically, the Muslim rulers were saying, and I have to distinguish historically, the early Islamic rulers were actually more permissive than the Mamluks and the later rulers. So I'm not going to say all Muslims. I'm just going to say there are certain, reality is more complex than just a broad stroke that you can say all settlers are this, all Muslims are that. Okay? So, this young man, his name is Rachavam Zevi. He comes back as a general with the Israeli army that wins the war in 67. The tanks come here, and you know what? He comes to this place, and he said, this is where I was humiliated as a child. I was not allowed to pray in the building above. He brings the bulldozer and destroys the whole structure that was used to be standing right next to this area here. So